guys, Saki with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a free-for-all match on the map Arena Valley Extreme. I'm starting in the bottom middle position, playing as the Soviets. And you can just see me at the start. Immediately what I do is I move up, further up the map. And the reason is if you start in the bottom middle position, playing a 5-player match, then the likelihood is you're in between two teams, and that's just an absolutely terrible place to be. So I've just moved my position at the start and hope that those two bottom teams don't realise, so I don't get attacked from both sides. It's obviously a very risky manoeuvre. It's going to delay my start quite a bit, but I do think it is worth it in this situation, because otherwise I think you're in a pretty bad position. Before this game started, I was speaking to Matthias on Steam Chat, and he asked if I could do a Tesla crawl against him, like I do in the troll games, where I get like multiple MCVs, which allows me to spam Tesla really fast at the end of the game when it was just us two left. Anyway, right now I'm just starting to get my economy going. I've got that first ore refinery up, and I've got getting my first war factory out. I'm getting plenty of infantry around my base because I really want to stop any scouts from getting in at this point. Because my biggest vulnerability here is going to be an early attack from either the left or the right. I think I'm going to be probably safe from the bottom, like the top right and the top left, because I think they're more likely to go for each other. Unless they actually go down the sides, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I'm just getting some going to get two couple of ore trucks out, and then I'm going to be getting my heavy tanks out. We can see they're yellow in the bottom left-hand position. And we haven't seen much of who's on the right, I don't think. I'm just going to send an infantry to go scouting there, just so I know who's where. And that's obviously a big advantage for myself. And I'm getting my second war factory down now. So I'm going to be able to build those structures a little bit faster. Well, tanks and ore trucks a little bit faster. And I'll be getting my second ore refinery out. Now for long term, my position isn't actually too bad. And there we can see the orange tank commander is in the bottom right hand position. And he's got some heavy tanks there. Of course, he's going to be further along with me with his build. Because he's obviously he'll have started normally, he wouldn't have moved his MCV at the start. And now I'm getting my second ore refinery out, which is going to help me mine off this top ore patch. My position's like pretty decent in terms of like resources, so you can see I've got like a big ore and gem patch below me, and I've also got one just above my base, which is obviously great. But what I'm doing here is I saw some movement on the right side of the screen from Tank Commander maybe, so I'm going to have to just get my forces together. And there we can see, once I've got my forces together, he's actually managed to get infantry through my base, so now he knows my base is sort of like in the middle of the map, and he's coming from the top, so didn't quite see that there. I'm just trying to get my tanks and infantry to that point now, and we're going to kill all those infantry, a lot of them going down, and we're going to have to try and push these tanks back. But he does have quite a few tanks there. Obviously he will have had the better start, and I've lost a couple of ore trucks, which is going to hurt me quite a bit. And also what we can see is that red is out of the game as well, so he must have suffered from an early attack from another player as well. So now the fight is between Tank Commander and myself. We managed to push him back a little bit. We have got a third war factory built. However, what I did is I cancelled it because I've lost 2 ore trucks, and I'm not going to be in a position to be able to utilise that faster building speed, so there's no point in getting it down. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to rebuild those 2 ore trucks, and I'm going to get another ore refinery out. And now yellow is coming in for the attack with medium tanks, so this is an allied player. We could see he had like a little base up the top, like the middle left position, and now I'm just getting another ore refinery there. Now, I'm having a wonder now, actually. It looks like yellow actually started in the middle left. So at the start, I didn't actually need to move up to this middle position. I would have been better just starting off where I did, or even moving, I guess, to the bottom left. But, of course, I didn't know that. I did what I thought was best at the time. Yeah, I've actually put myself in a worse position by moving than I would have been otherwise. So, yeah, that was a bit of a... Well, I could say it was a mistake, but like it's very rare that the 4 players don't start in the corners. Unless yellow moved at the start, but that wouldn't make any sense. So it does look like we've had unusual starting positions all round. Anyway, I'm going to keep on just building and play the best I can for now. So getting that large power plant down. I'm going to get that third war factory. We could just see that yellow player above us. He does have a lot of tanks there. He's got quite a sizable army. We've also got orange to the bottom right. And we've also got Matthias somewhere else on the map. Maybe having a fight somewhere else. He's actually called Good Games, so I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, what I'm going to be able to do now that I know that yellow is sort of like in that middle left position is I'm going to be able to start going down towards this ore patch, because this ore patch is actually quite good in the bottom left position, because it does have a lot of gems surrounding the outside, so it will help me a lot. And there we can see Tank Commander going for the multiple MCV build, so he'll probably be able to get a lot of Tesla and things like that if he gets enough MCVs. He'll also be able to expand to other parts of the map. And the question is how much of the map is available to use, because we can see there's like only 4 of us left now. And it looks like, I don't know if Matthias is still in the game or not at the moment. So I need to sort of like calculate what's best to do. I am on 3 war factories, and I'm getting a 4th war factory on the way. So I could just build these tanks a little bit faster. But we can see that yellow is now trying to mine off the same ore patch as myself, which is obviously a very bad situation to be in, because that's going to use up the resources a bit more quickly. So getting that 4th war factory out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build some more ore trucks, because what I want to make sure I'm able to do is to utilise that faster building speed. So I'm going to need to make sure my economy is strong enough to handle that. And as I say that, we can see the orange army coming from the right side of the map. And I'm also getting a service depot down. It might be just in time, because we can see that MCV could be under threat. But we're managing to possibly fend off this attack. I'm good. Getting that service depot though is good, because if I do get a construction yard dive now, I will be able to build extra MCVs, provided I keep all my war factory, well, at least 1 war factory standing. And now the orange army getting repelled, and we'll have to see if he goes around the middle, because it does look like his tanks are going up the map near the top, so we'll have to see. We've got a bit of a limited map visibility at the moment, and getting another ore refinery there. And you can just see I'm actually starting to stack ore quite a bit. Now, the orange army is not too big, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this opportunity to build a couple of MCVs. And what those MCVs will allow me to do is, once I get them deployed, is build structures quicker, so I can build some Tesla quite quickly if I need to. And that's just really useful when you're getting to get attacked by tanks, because fighting against Tesla and tanks at the same time is very, very difficult. So I'll just be able to get a bit more defense on my base. And there we can see that construction yard with a Tesla guard in it, just in the bottom right of the map. And that's sort of like on Tank Commander's outer base, where he's got an extra MCV. It's actually quite a strange place to have his extra MCV, really. I would have thought he'd want to have it like in a more, I don't know, a place next to war, so you could mine up other patches. But now we can see the orange army coming from the top of the map, or the middle of the map anyway, the top side of my base. So, and I'm going to get some Tesla down to help me deal with this. Because you can see those tanks quite stationary at the moment, and as soon as those Tesla get involved, he's going to have to pull back, because those tanks and Tesla allow me to get a very good trade-off. And now orange going to the right side of the map, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to follow him a bit, and we've managed to get him sort of like on a little bit of an awkward point here, where he's having a bit of tracking issues, and we're starting to get some good tank kills, and that is really going to whittle down his army quite a bit. And that's been a bit of a disaster for orange, but we can also see that yellow is sort of getting a bit more aggressive now, and he's bringing his tank force a bit further down the map, and they're going to be starting to attack my ore trucks, so I'm going to need to deal with that also. And just getting my tanks sort of like bunched up there. Unfortunately, what's going to happen is that's going to hinder my ore trucks and ore collection, but I'm going to need to defend against yellow. And yellow's probably in like a decent position as well, because he'll be able to expand further up the map, because there's 2 good ore patches there. Obviously, Tank Commander's started in the bottom right, so he'll have access to 3 ore patches right next to his base. So we're all probably in like similar positions in terms of ore. It's Probably the question is what's happening in the top right of the map. And there I can see some orange tanks going over there. So I wonder, is he going for the attack on yellow? And we can see those yellow tanks now pulling away. It looks like orange and yellow might be having a bit of a battle up there. And while they're doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just expand to that next door patch. Just below my base, like the ore patch I would have been on at the start of the game if I'd stayed where I had been. And I've also built 2 extra MCVs just to increase that building speed a little bit more. And hopefully, yeah, just be able to get some defences. It's just about like holding as much control over the map as I can, really. And I'm going to get some Tesla coils in this bottom middle position just to defend, because orange is like it looks like he's in a quite strong position to the right of us. So we're going to need to make sure that he doesn't expand and take control over the bottom of the map, because if he takes control over the bottom of the map and I'm stuck in the middle, I'm going to be in a very, very bad position. So just and there you can see the Tesla crawl starting. He's got that Tesla quite close to my base, so I'm going to plant a Tesla there, and I've done a big mistake there. I've sort of haven't got the power, so you can see the Tesla coils can attack each other, but you do need to manually like do that. And now the orange army coming in to fight my flame towers and Tesla. The problem is the Tesla have low HP, so they're not very good on their own, and that orange army is starting to clear up some of my buildings. I'm going to have to get my tank force down and build some extra Tesla just behind, just to try and get some damage. But that tank force is quite large, and yet again I'm just getting a bit of a trouble because of the power situation, because he did destroy some of my power plants at the south of the map. And I've got some Tesla going behind me, so hopefully that's going to be enough to hold. I do have to be careful in this position. We can also see quite a few yellow tanks at the top of the map. We'll have to see where they decide to go. I don't know if they're going to orange's base or whether they're going to attack myself. But now we've got 3 Teslas working with us, and I don't have as many tanks as orange, but with all those Tesla working, hopefully we're going to be able to get a decent trade-off. The problem is orange has some Tesla of his own just there, and they've been able to take out some of my own tanks. But now I'm going for the attack on those Tesla. Orange has pulled his tanks back because of all the Tesla I've got at the front line, and we've been able to take out those 2 front Tesla, which were providing a bit of a problem, because they were sort of in range of like my tanks at the other side of the river. And I'm just getting some Tesla placed on the bank there, just to help me a little bit if he does go on the attack, and also to destroy any Tesla that pop up that are too close to my base. I'm also getting some tanks out of that war factory and just starting to replenish my tank force. But we're sort of like in a bit of a standoff here. You can see that orange army there, and it's sort of like one of those situations where we don't want to attack each other, because if he attacks me, he has to fight against Tesla and tanks. If I attack him, I have to fight against Tesla and tanks. So it's like one of those standoffs you sometimes have when Soviet players go multiple MCV, because you need to make sure that you do have the much better tank force. And we'll have to see if we decide to go for a base crawl. But you can see I do have a lot of Tesla defences now, both defending on the right side of my base and also on the bottom as well, just to make it hard for orange to get in either way. We do have a lot less defence on the top of the base, but yellow's been less active there. But we still have to be very careful, because yellow does have some decent tank forces. He's also playing as the allies, and that's very significant, because what he will get is he'll get tech centre, which gives him satellite. And when you get satellite, you can see the whole map, so you'll be able to see where my weak spots of my base are. And he'll also, that's the same, you'll be able to see that for tank commander as well. He'll also know who's best to go for and who's best to attack, who's in the strongest position. And I don't think it's unlikely to be myself at the moment, because I do think, I don't know, either yellow, it depends, as I say, who controls that top right side of the map. And now we can see those ore trucks trying to go for the ore in the middle of the map. And I've got quite a few flame towers here, and try to take out those ore trucks and do a little bit of damage. But now you can see the tanks coming in against the flame towers. I've sort of like sealed off one of the paths. I was just trying to destroy the ore trucks, really. And now, as his tanks move, I'm going to use this opportunity to get a kill on some of those Tesla at the front of his base, and maybe get some major buildings down. So we're going on the attack now. We've got those 2 Tesla down. We're going to get a construction yard down. We might get a second one down. And now he's noticed, and he's bringing his tanks back. But what I'm doing is I'm just clearing off some of these buildings. They're a bit close to my base, and then I'll just pull back because I don't want to get in a full-blown fight unless I know I've got the better advantage. And we can see now a Tesla quite close there. I'm going to need to take that out and just destroy some of those power plants. And Orange pulling back here. I just need to be very careful that I don't dive in too far and lose too many tanks in this battle. Yet again, he's placing down another Tesla coil that's quite close to my base, so I'll just take that down once again, and I'll get rid of that big power plant so the next Tesla coil he places won't be in range of my own base defences. But now what I'm doing is I'm starting to get some base defences on that sort of like cut-in, just so I can take out those ore trucks, because I don't want him mining on the same patches that I am, which has sort of like initiated this scrap between us. And now that Tesla doing some damage to that ore truck, and I think that ore truck is going to go down pretty quickly. I've also got another Tesla down there, and the longer this goes on for, yeah, another ore truck's going to go down, it looks like. So that's working out quite well for myself. But what I do notice is yellow is starting to get that tank mass just lined up in the middle of the map once again, just above my base. So I'm going to be getting some base defences down there just to prepare for if yellow decide to go on the attack, because they could attack at any point in time. And I'm in a really awkward position at the moment because I'm right next to Orange's base, who's in the bottom right, and I'm right next to Yellow's base, who's in the top left. So I'm sort of like in the middle, I'm sandwiched between them. But to be fair, they have been fighting. I can see some Yellow fighting in the top right of the map, and I think Yellow might be fighting Matthias, actually. Yeah, he's still technically in the game. You can see him there. Like on the screen at the top, it shows who's still in the game, so he's still there. So yeah, it depends on how strong he is. I can't see him anywhere on the map though. So we've got Orange still there, we've got Yellow there, and now I do have quite a big Tesla mass in the top of my base, and we're getting a bit of a cheeky hits on those tanks there, and getting a couple of Tesla there, so we'll have to see if he decides to charge in. I mean, I do have a lot of Tesla there. I know they have low HP, but when you get Tesla in those sorts of masses, if he does try and dive in, it will be very painful for himself, and he will lose a lot of tanks, even if I don't have tanks there at the moment. I will be bringing my tanks to the top if he does decide to go on the attack. So now we're going to be able to, we've got some more Tesla in the middle, and what I'm trying to do is just extend over as well, just so I can get right in the middle of here, so that I can stop those orange ore trucks as well from mining there, and I can also get on an extra ore patch. So I'm getting a couple of ore refineries in the middle there, and I'll just get some more Tesla just to defend. Because we can see those yellow ore trucks now in the middle as well, and it looks like we're going to be able to get quite a good hit on them. We'll have to see how many we're able to destroy. Some of the Tesla aren't quite in range, but I'm getting some Tesla a little bit closer and starting to mass up the Tesla in the middle of the map. We'll have to see, is yellow going to respond? Is orange going to respond? Because I guess what they have to think about as well is, let's say orange has enough tanks to take out my base. It depends, he could take out my base, but the amount of force tanks he's going to lose, would that be worth it? Would he get out the other end, and would he be able to fight yellow? That's the question, or Matthias, if he's still kicking on the map. But yeah, we're just going to be able to, and we can see this yellow tank force, and now this seems to be coming down the map. So I'm going to have to sort of like respond a little bit here. I've got some like Tesla, those power plants at the front as well are sort of like providing a bit of a blockade. So it might be a bit hard for him to get to those Tesla. The only unfortunate thing at the moment is he's getting in range, he's sort of like in range to be able to fire on those ore trucks. But yeah, as soon as he pushes forwards, he realises I've got like quite a lot of Tesla there, and he's had to pull back as well. Because this Tesla in the middle of the map is getting extreme, but he's going down the weak side, and that's what I mean about Satellite being so advantageous. He knows exactly where the weak spots are. He's playing as an allied player. So now he's gone down the left side of the map, and we're going to have to bring our tanks forwards and try and defend against this. He's also going to be able to take out quite a lot of power plants, so it's going to be quite dangerous myself. What I'm doing is I'm just putting Tesla down. I know they'll get destroyed immediately, but I'm just letting my tank force get back in, and once my tank force gets in, I'll be placing the Tesla a bit further back, just so they're like can do a bit more damage. But the problem is now I don't have many resources. and this is going to be a big problem because I'm going to need to, I do need a lot of tank numbers. I also need a lot of Tesla to be able to defend against this push from yellow. It looks like yellow has the better tank forces. They are using medium tanks so they are slightly weaker than my heavy tanks. I've also got some Tesla in the background doing a little bit of damage, but as it destroys those large power plants, I might be on low power quite soon, so I'm going to need to be very careful here. And now he's going to be able to take out some of those construction yards, and my situation is starting to get a bit better once again, so I will be able to continue to start being able to place those Tesla, but I have lost some construction yards in the process, so they're going to take a bit longer to build. And now he's going for a little bit of a fight with my tanks, but I think my tank numbers are the better right now, and those tank forces being whittled down for yellow. I think he's bringing some reinforcements in, coming from the top of the map, and I'm going to need to get back there ASAP. The only issue is the longer we spend fighting here, the more time it gives for other players to sort of like build up and become stronger. With those Teslas doing some great work here. He's got the better number of medium tanks, but I'm getting those Teslas now placed further back in my base, a bit out of the range of those medium tanks, but sort of like in range to be able to fire, but out of the fire in range of those medium tanks, because obviously Tesla can fire a lot further than tanks can. And I've got these tanks in front as well, just providing a bit of base defence, a front line if you like. And now just getting some more Tesla players down, a bit closer. And now he's just sitting his tanks just outside my base, because he doesn't want to dive in, because he's already lost quite a bit. And I see some orange tanks there to the right of the map, so they're ready to pounce if needs be. Yeah, I've got just a Tesla there just to provide a little bit of defence. He's got a few tanks straggling there in the middle, but what I'll do is I'll probably need to take out those tanks on the left there. And yeah, his tank numbers aren't like significant anymore. He'll be able to see the bottom of my base. Well, I think he'll be able to see everything anyway because he's playing as the allies. As long as he's got a tech centre, of course. And yeah, now we've got some Tesla there up at the top of the map. We could see some infantry going in. We'll place our radar dome down there. We've rebuilt that, and now we can see the map, and we can see that yellow is very powerful across the top of the map. I've got like a tiny bit of visibility in the top right, and we can see that he's got some units or some structures there, so he's taken quite a bit of control. So now we're going on the attack though. Those medium tanks going down. He's only got 4 left. Is he going to try and go on the attack? Is he going to get reinforcements? It looks like reinforcements are coming in, and their tank forces are building up quite rapidly. So I'm going to need to pull back here because there's just too many tanks there for me to be able to take. I'll need some help from those Tesla inside my base. So the attack is going on once again. And I can also see that yellow has tank forces at the top of the base as well. However, those areas of the base are well guarded. So if he does try and dive in, it will be very costly for himself. Even if he does have the tank forces to be able to push forwards. I'm also seeing orange as well. That orange on the right side of the map looks a bit more dense, so he might have more structures, he might have more tanks now. It looks like I might be in sort of like a bit of a tricky situation, and I just need to get a power plant up really quickly. And now we can see that pink are in the bottom of my base. Where on earth has Matthias come from? That was not where I was expected to get attacked, and I don't have any base defences here. It's sort of like he's done, I don't know, has he done a like silo crawl around the rim of the map or something? I have no idea. I don't have any idea how he got there. I can't see any construction yards anywhere at the bottom of the map there, but he is there, and I'm going to have to be very careful. But the thing is, at the same time, I've got yellow attacking me from the top here, so this could be a bit of a difficult situation. We'll have to see what pink decides to try and do. But some of my Tesla going down there. At least I've got like construction yards sort of like in the middle of the map. And now he's got that barracks. And you know what that means? It's going to mean Tanya's. So I'm going to need to sort of get some defences down. Well, defences down in the middle. The problem is I'm out of like funds. So I'm just going to need to sell up now because I'm just completely out of funds. I don't have any funds to build anything, and those Tanyas are going to be able to do a lot of damage. And what I'm going to need to do though is I'm going to need to be able to get a flame tower or something, because those Tanyas will just absolutely wreck those power plants. Just getting some infantry sort of like around the outsides of those barracks. Just hopefully I'll be able to destroy any Tanyas that come out as soon as that happens. And now yellow's starting to come there as well. So he's going to be able to destroy them with his tanks. So yeah, it was a bit of a distraction there when I was fighting yellow, but I am going to lose those power plants unfortunately, and I'm going to need to rebuild those power plants because I'm going to want those Tesla on the bottom of the map to be online. I'm going to be in an extremely weak position while his base defences are down, so I'm going to be building power plants up ASAP, and I'm just going to have to sell some of these Tesla. Now you might be wondering why I'm selling the Tesla at the bottom of my base where he's attacking and not at the top of the base and have those firing, and there's a reason for that. It's because the bottom of my base now, he has got tanks at the top of my base as well, so it'd give another opening where he could attack me, so then he could attack from both sides. But there's also the thing that the top of the map is more valuable because that's where more ore is. The bottom of the map, you can see all the ore is being used up, so it's not as vital. So what I'm going to want to do, obviously I don't want to get him to be able to get into the middle of my base, but I do have some Tesla there to help me. But I need to keep that top of the map, map control over that region. Also, you can also see that ore is going to regrow, I guess, at the bottom eventually, and yellow's sort of not around that position, but I need to keep that position in the middle. If I lose that position, I'm just going to be in like stuck in a corner, and I'm not going to have many resources at all. So now we've managed to get yellow over there, and now some more medium yellow tanks are coming down the left side, and it just seems to be never ending. As soon as I defeat one wave, another wave keeps on coming, and each time a successive wave comes, I seem to get a little bit weaker. You can just see there, though, I'm still in the middle of the map, and now it looks like he's attacking from there, but the orange army is starting to build up also, and some of those tanks coming down the right side of my base now, and this could put me in a bit of a bad situation, so I'm going to sell some of those middle Tesla, just to make sure the Tesla I do have are online, and I do have some defences at the top of my base to defend against that approaching army. But yeah, I've had to sell quite a lot of Tesla unfortunately, and it means my base is going to be less well defended as it was before. We've lost a lot of power plants, and what I'm just trying to do now is just keep on top of those power plants and just stay alive really at the moment. That's literally all I'm trying to do and survive this. We can see that Orange has built some walls in front of his Tesla, so he's like building a proper base, doing a bit of SimCity building. The big problem is though, I don't have an answer for this approaching yellow army. I've got just no tanks in my base right at the moment. I've just got nothing I can do against these medium tanks. You can see that I've got like 2 heavy tanks there. I've got some Tesla in the background, but they're not in range anymore. I don't have any resources, so I can't really scale up. Can't make any more Tesla. Can't make any more tanks. And this looks like I'm in like a pretty terrible position. We can also see that yellow is in control over the whole of the top of the map. It looks like they're absolutely huge at the moment, and we can see orange there going into my base, and he'll realise now that my Tesla are offline because once again I've ran out of power, so I'm just trying to sell some of those. A single Tesla there, and that was enough getting another power plant down, and I'll be able to fire once again. But those yellow tanks now are on the retreat, so he's probably seen something elsewhere that needs his attention. So that I wonder what that is though, but he's laid off for the time being, and we can see his tanks going towards the further right on the map. And we'll have to see, is orange attacking him at the other side of his base? That could be the case, but yellow's done a little bit of a mistake now. Some of his tanks are going wrong, and they've gone into that big Tesla wall, and he's lost a few tanks there. Although he does have a much bigger army. It's not like myself, where I've literally got 2 tanks in my base, and that's my full army. Yellow's got many, many more than that. What I'm going to try and do though is, while yellow is fighting at the right side of his base, I'm going to try and build up again and start maybe mining some of those resources at the ore patch there just at the top of my base. I do still have a couple of ore trucks working, but obviously my workforce gathering resources is very, very depleted, and a lot of the resources around my base, I've got very few, so it's not in a good position at the moment. I'm going to need a bit of time to build back up. Now, this was an extremely long game, so I'm going to wind it forward a bit now, because there wasn't very much action which happened over the next 7 minutes. And 7 minutes later, and you can see we're in pretty much the same position as we were before. I do have a bit more visibility over the top of the map though. I've had a few bits and pieces there, but now the Orange Army is coming on the attack, and he's at the bottom of my base, and I'm in a bit of trouble. I do have some tanks now, at least, but that Orange Army coming in, and you can see there's a mass of tanks there. He's also got some V2 rockets, and they're probably going to be helpful when fighting the Tesla. But yeah, he's also got some infantry. At least I've got some flame towers there, because flame towers are very effective against infantry. Tesla, not so much. They obviously only can kill 1 infantry each zap. But now that Orange Army is coming in, and it's absolutely ginormous. And the question is how on earth am I going to be able to stop it? They are going past that Tesla there. We'll have to see how they're going to go and attack the Tesla, or they're going to attack the power. That's the question, really, I guess. They look like they're going for the Tesla first of all, and once they destroy the Tesla, then they'll be able to focus down on my tanks. And I just don't have much at the moment at all in the way of a tank force, not compared to what Orange have. And that is just, as I say, it just looks like it's never ended. It's like the gates have opened, and now the army is on the march. And this is going to be a big problem for myself. We just have to defend as much as we can here. I'm just going to sell some Tesla in the background there, just to try and get myself back online with power. There we have the power back on, so at least some of the Tesla will be able to fire, but the army is going forwards, and even with the Tesla online, this is going to be a very, very hard fight for myself. I'm going to suffer a lot of damage to my base, and I'm having to sell even more Tesla, because as he storms through my base, and actually what's happened now is he's taken out all my construction yards, so my construction yards are down. I don't have any left. I'm going to need to, so I'm not going to be able to build any buildings. I could build an MCV though, but I do need to be able to defend against this attack first. There's no point in building an MCV right at the minute. At least I do have the funds, because my funds are like decent. I've got 7k resources in the bank, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sell those tanks. I'm going to start building some MCVs, because if I lose those war factories to those orange tanks, I'm going to be in real big trouble. And now Orange going sort of like into the middle of the map here. We'll have to see as Yellow's sort of around there as well. And yeah, I've just been attacked by all directions. My base looks like it's pretty much like almost, I'm down to like a tiny part of the map now. But now the Orange Army is going north, because I think he sees he's gone right through into Yellow's base. He's not going for those Tesla anymore. He doesn't want to lose too many tanks. And I've got an MCV back up, so at least I'm going to get a construction yard down. I'm going to be able to build some more buildings. And we see that Orange Army sort of like in the middle of the map. He's between my Tesla and the yellow tanks right at the moment. At least that army is going to be hopefully whittled down a little bit if I do manage to survive. We do see some forces there from Pink, no doubt. A couple of infantry there. And that Orange Army now starting to it's starting to get dissipated now. I think it's all gone. I'm just bringing this, and we do see the Pink Army there, the Pink base, sort of like in the cliffs of the. This is, I don't think I've actually seen this before, like someone actually having a base like in the cliffs of the map. Like I've obviously saw people put silos there, but not having like the construction yard and the tech center and everything just like located in the cliffside. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if, like, I don't think Pink's got anything in the top right. I think he would have been destroyed by now, but he's still there. He's still alive. I'm just going on a couple of minutes again, and now Orange has finished in Yellow's base, and he's coming for myself. You can see Yellow's still quite like strong across the top of the map, but he has got a few less buildings, especially in that top left position. And that Orange Army now coming down the left side of my base. And still, I have like a few more tanks now. I've been able to get my economy a bit back online. I do have some Teslas sort of inside my base, but not too many. And my base is just getting smaller and smaller. It's sort of like hard to house all these large power plants because my base is just getting compressed. I've been attacked from the top. I've been attacked from the right. I've been attacked from the left. I've even been attacked by Matthias at the bottom. It's just been a little bit crazy. Like the number of angles I've been, the number of different ways I've been attacked, different places I've been attacked from, every angle imaginable. And now the Tesla is starting to fire on those orange tanks, and I've got a few tanks to defend as well, which is obviously helpful. And those orange tanks seem to be getting whittled down a little bit, and he's on a bit of a retreat. I mean, all over the map though, like, the raw's regrowing, but it's not like we haven't got plentiful ore anywhere. I guess it's just like controlling as many ore patches as you can know. The more ore patches you control, the more ore, like the more the ore's going to regrow. And now we can see orange tanks coming to the right side of my base, so I'm going to need to get my tanks back and ready to defend once again. So going through that like bottom part now, or are they just going for my? Yeah, it looks like they're going for that bottom base there. And yeah, unfortunately, I do have my MCVs and the redeployable, so I'm just going to need to sell that because that's obviously going to get taken out by those heavy tanks. And we'll have to see where those heavy tanks now decide to go. Are they going to go around and attack my base? What I'm doing now is I'm trying to take my tanks down just to cut them off so they can't regroup back in the base. However, we do see some orange tanks at the top of my base fighting with yellow, it appears, at the moment. So now we're just going to try and take this fight. He sort of found his orange tanks in like not a great place because he doesn't want to go and fight me here because he doesn't want to lose any tanks. But what I want to do is I just want to take these out ASAP and just whittle down his forces so he doesn't have them to use further on in the game. And those tanks look like they are going to go down. They are stationary. I think he's distracted on other parts of the map, and it looks like we're going to get quite a good trade and do quite a bit of destruction to those tanks, because tanks are sort of more valuable as we get to like these points in the game, because you can see the ore resources aren't as plentiful. So what you need to do, make sure you do, is that you make sure you use your resources more resourcefully. So you don't, if you're losing tanks needlessly, obviously is very bad at this point. And I'm just having a bit of a look at the right side of the map. We can see that yellow is still surviving to the top right. The thing is now though, before I was sort of like in between the two players. We had yellow right above me to the top left, and we had orange to the bottom right. It's now actually yellow who's sort of more getting in like sort of the middle sort of position, where he's right next to orange's base, and he's also right near my base as well. Although he's getting a bit detached, which is sort of good, because he did attack me a lot more earlier in the game. But now we can see another wave of orange tanks coming on the attack, but this time there's less. And it looks like he realises he doesn't have enough tanks to fight. And he's going forward now. I think there's a little Tanya coming there, probably from Matthias, to the back of my base. So he might get one, yeah, he does get one construction yard. But we've managed to sizzle that with a Tesla coil. Now, what I need to do is I need to focus on sort of like just... We've sort of like got a little bit of a timeout because Tank Commander's gone for a cigarette to smoke. What you can see now that's happened though is because yellow's sort of like not in the top left, that ore's starting to regrow, so I'm sort of like in a better position there. Whereas like Tank Commander, you can see, is like a bit locked in. He's got like yellow above him and he's got me to the side. It's sort of like the position I was in earlier. So obviously while he's smoking, I'm not going to be sending any tanks towards his base. I'm just going to be, building my own base up really. But yeah, we can just see that that orange army is there, and we can see a yellow ore truck there because we've got yellow still in the game, and he's trying to go for my resources now. So I'm going to just take that tank out, because I don't want him going for those resources that I'm at. And we're just going to make sure chase him sort of like off the map here, and make sure he doesn't start taking the parts of the map that I have control over. So we'll just try and defend this position from yellow at the moment. And yeah, I'm sort of like in this, I'll just get my base up here now so that I can place any Tesla if yellow decides to take that ore truck back. But yeah, that's sort of that part of the map now is under my control. And it does look like orange is back now from having a little bit of a break. And we have to see where his tank's going to come. And it looks like they're going to come to the bottom of the map. He's got his Tesla defences there. He's got his tanks ready. And yeah, I'm just bringing my tanks further down. I'm going to start expanding onto these ore patches now at the top of the map. Unable to comply. In progress. So, yeah, I'm just bringing... I've got, like, a load of infantry as well, from, like, selling buildings later on, like, other times in the game, and buildings being destroyed, and we can see those orange tanks coming towards me. They're going to come towards my base, and... Now, Tank Commander in the chat is saying, group up, sell Tesla. meet at the bottom ore. So we're just coming to the bottom ore patch right now. I've got my tank group there. You can see him. He's got his tank group there as well. And what we're going to do now is we're going for the last tank battle, which is also said in the chat, last tank battle. So this is going to be the final battle between me and Tank Commander. It's just going to be a straight tank battle. We're going to sell our Tesla. I'm just going to get my tanks down there first. I'm still like building them, of course, from my war factories, but this is just one final showdown between me and him. And yeah, we don't want this match to go any longer. The real time of this game is took just over an hour. That was the actual game time. It does say about 50 minutes when you look at the stats, but that's because sometimes when you get a bit of lag, it doesn't like account for it all, and you can see how bad the tracking is there. But he's going to let me group up because we're just going down here and just going to have a straight battle between the two of us. I'm also, while I'm doing this, I'm just expanding onto those extra ore patches at the top of the map, which I have control over, because I have got good map control right now, and my force is coming together, and now this is going to be our final battle. And just still building there, and now we're going to charge in. I do think it does look like I have a bit better numbers. I've got quite a few infantry there as well, and now we're going to charge in. The two armies come to meet for one final showdown. And yeah, this is just a straight tank and infantry battle, and let's see how this goes. It's looking all good for me at the moment. I'm going to be able to get some of those tanks in, get to squash some of those infantry as well. I do have a good number of infantry there, sort of protected by those front heavy tanks. Infantry can do quite a bit of damage, and if he does try and push his tanks too far in, they will get sort of like surrounded by own tanks. And it looks like the battle's going in my favour. Those orange tanks are getting depleted pretty quickly, and it looks like I'm going to come out on top of this. We can see his tank numbers have fallen, and he's having to pull back a little bit, trying to regroup, but it's going to be to no avail because my tank numbers are just too great. I've also got a lot of infantry backing him up as well, providing a little bit of help there. And we can just see that pink infantry behind us just fighting on them, so Matthias still taking part in the game there. Having a bit of a fire on some of my infantry in the back there. I didn't actually notice that when I was playing, it was just in the replay there, just that single pink infantry guy. But now we're just pushing Tank Commander back, and we're sort of in the base, and this is sort of good game for Tank Commander. And now we can see those yellow forces coming in on my base. He's only got infantry though, and it's going to be not like too big of a deal. Even if he destroys that war factory, there's no way he's going to get into my base. I've got just too many Tesla and other defences for him to have to take out, and the Tank Commander's tanks are almost all gone now. They're down to 2 or 3 or 4, but he'll still be building a few more, I guess. But we're sort of pushing back into his base, and once we get into his base, we'll be able to destroy the main buildings, the war factories, everything else, and auto going down there for good measure. And there's the war factory coming up. I'm just building some Tesla now, not against Tank Commander, just against Yellow, who does seem to have a little bit of a navy in that sort of lake in the top right position. But now Tank Commander's buildings are going down, and it is well and truly good game for Tank Commander. And yeah, all those buildings going down. And yeah, I think he's going to sell up now. And Yellow's calling it a good game as well. Yellow knows he doesn't have the forces that he's going to need to be able to fight this out. He's been able to be saved by having a few naval forces in that lake. But I'm heading over there now, and we're going to see exactly what he's got. And he's got actually less than I thought. He's only got a radar dome and a few things next to that base. So those are getting sold now. And now it's time for the finale, because at the start of the game, before the match started, I did tell Matthias I was going to do a Tesla crawl. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Probably not in the fashion that Matthias envisaged, but all the other people are out of the game now, and it's time to finish it off. So yeah, I'll just keep those tanks back and bring the Tesla in. And we're going to see his base there, where he's been for most of the match. He's sort of just being hidden on that hill. sort of with that tech centre, with that construction yard, bringing the odd Tanya into my base and trying to do as much damage as he can. And now he's selling up the Tesla crawler, taking over. Of course, he doesn't have any tanks to defend against it. And yeah, that is going to be a good game. So a pretty long match. I sort of got like stuck in the middle there quite a bit. It was a bad idea to move at the start. I sort of got like sandwiched in between yellow and orange for part of the match. But then when yellow sort of like migrated to the top right, that put me in a much better position where I was able to use the ore patches in the top left. And that just made my economy so much better. You can see my economy is absolutely stacked at the moment, actually. But that's because I've been selling Tesla and stuff like that. And yeah, been just focusing on that last tank battle. But yeah, there were some like points which were really close in this game. For example, where I only had, I think at one point, like halfway through the game, I like only had two tanks left. And at that point, it was sort of, yeah, it was anyone's game. But that's when you have like three players playing each other. It's always like tricky because players don't want to spend too long on one player because then the other player gets too strong. And that's sort of what happened to like between the three of us. Different players were strongest at different points in time, and it was about being able to manage that and get through it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. A bit of a long one today.